Okay, we're about 10 thousandths under now. Could be 1 inch 300, we're at 1 inch 290. I've got to take the top off of this until it's under an inch, I'm sorry, till it's under 320 thousandths. And the step in is the step in. Step in is 290. So this piece of material is 283. Got the bed against my stop. Why won't that fastener move? Oh, because I'm hard against it, that's why. Okay. So that's how far in we have to go with our notch. Gonna make this notch over here. Oh, doesn't work. I'm hitting a screw on the way wiper there. Okay, well I don't want to lose my place. So I'm going to come in against my setting. And we're going to move the carriage stop back after I blow the Allens out with some air. I got to improve my air so that I can have a nice gentle puff of air for things like that, because I don't want to blow metal flakes into the machine everywhere. I don't want to ruin my machine with swarf. We'll come in and set this thickness again. That's too oily for me to use a piece of tape, so I'm just going to do this visually. Actually, let's use a piece of paper as a telltale. There we go. Very close. There it is. I can feel it touching. Don't see a cut, but I can feel it. The vibrations in the machine. Now this is a climb mill going in this direction. I don't want to take a cut off going in this direction. Look at that little kiss I took off the surface. It's easy to run the cross slide off the end of the screw there. I learned last night I can really only take, when I'm cutting like this, about 5 thousandths a pass. I can take 1 or 2 on the way back, without it jerking the cross slide forward in the slack. And I cut the other side to 318. 320 is the size of the slot. I took off too much on that, probably about 8 thousandths, and it gets the vise bouncing up and down. And I don't know if I included it in the video or not, but I've made gouges in this surface over here that I think were as deep as 15-20 thousandths from this bouncing up and down. I just have to be patient and take my time. This is not a milling machine. I have to take what it'll give me, be happy. I think I'm a little bit short on the width of my flat surface there. So when I get done, I'll take one more pass across and a couple more to bring it in. This one's about 20 thousandths too wide because my cutter slipped in the chuck. And that was from taking 10 thousandths cuts. So I'm going to try not to make that mistake on this side. This cut should get us to 318. So very, very close. 319. I'm going to climb mill it back about a thou and a half. I'm sitting at about 317, which is fine. Can't read it. Get around here. Okay, this is the problem I ran into on the other side. It's hard to maintain the vise. Yeah, I'm sitting at 320 over here, so the vise has moved enough that I'm off by 3 thousandths. All right, I'm gonna have to dial that back in and make another cut. Sure would be nice to have my milling machine up and running. I was making a mistake initially, and I may have done it earlier by indicating off at the top of that, which is of course always going to be parallel with the slide. So I'm indicating off the bottom of it, which is, I figure I'm transferring from the bottom of the chuck. So I should be able to take a cut now. Got it within a few tenths. Should be able to take a cut now and even up the thickness across there. I haven't changed the height of the tool, or the height of the jaw. I think I'm just going to come in here and take a pass without touching anything. Well, that fastener on that cross slide is chewing my knuckle up. Here we go. I can read the tool if I do it like, nope, can't. On the wrong hand, fellas. On the wrong hand. Okay, now we're down at 18, so we got a couple thou clearance. Probably down at 16 over here, though. No, we're sitting at 18. That's right, because the way we moved this, we wouldn't have taken any more off of this. Awesome. I thought I heard some coming off, but it must not have been. Alright, round two. We are narrowing this down to actual measurements. Remember, I made a 300,000 mistake. Had an item on the wrong place away from the decimal point. Now I've measured this lip. I want it to be 200 wide, and it's 210. And I've got a 10 thousandths filler gauge here. So I'm going to put my stop, just my stop up against the filler gauge, and that should let me take off 10 thousandths. So there's a way I thought of that I could do this more accurately. There we go. I've moved it in, and we'll make the last cut. Should be setting at about 200 straight up. There we go. 200. That gives me 5 thousandths clearance on this side. I'll flip the part around and machine the other side. We see we still have a big foot here. Alright, I think I'm done. I haven't trial fit it yet. Here we go. Little bit of sticky in there. Might have a burr or something on the jaw. A little tight. Let me work on that. May need to machine this top section a little bit narrower where it fits between these two. Oh, there we go. There we go. Awesome. Got it in there. Ended up with a hole off center. Not as good a job as I could have done, but I struggled my way through it, and I'm going to have my tool post mounted up. Now I'm getting ready to put my compound miter back on here, my compound slide, and this lathe is in pretty good condition. Everything I touch on I'm going to clean as I do it. I haven't broken it down and totally cleaned it from top to bottom, front to back yet. I found a little bit of grease in here. Grease is a bad thing for lathes. It just holds grit, and it's not. It's a very sticky lubricant. We don't want that with a lathe. This is whey oil. This is the correct oil to put on these mating cast iron surfaces. So I brake cleaned all this off, got it real clean, made sure there was no grits. I'm going to lubricate everything and put this back together. Now, if you're watching these videos and you don't know how this works, the part that does the rubbing up in here is not the end of a fastener. It's a little dowel pin. I don't know if you can see it right here. It's got an angle on it, and it matches the angle of this stem. And this fastener here controls the tension that's on it. And there's another one right here. And maybe someday I'll machine this so that there's a third one here, or maybe another pair here. I think the lathe would be a lot stiffer if it had more points of contact under here. And I noticed the problems that I have seem to be related to everything moving around. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to run these fasteners in and push those little angled dowel pins up under that mushroom looking part. And of course, here it is. I'm one for laying tools down. Okay, now run that up snug. Now that bevel is on the end of a pin, and it might not be contacting correctly. It might be at an angle. So I'm going to snug and loosen, give that a chance to turn. There we go. And these are really used to lock this up when you have it in the position you want to have it in. And most of the time we're going to run it, I think, over here at 30 degrees, something like that, something about like so. All of my hobby time this weekend's been spent machining that part so I can mount this. I'm going to squeeze any. Oh, look at this! Look at this. Okay, so the corner of the tool is hitting the slide here. That means I need to machine this and flatten that out. Oh, you know what? It's making a nice mark on its own. Oops. Alright, because this will go in many positions. So I need to come back almost as far as the bevel there. Alright, I've decided on a solution. I don't have my this is just something that's hand ground at the factory anyway, so I'm just going to relieve it a little bit more with a file. Yeah, that had some marks in it. That's looking a lot better now. This is a round file on the back. And I'm loading it back this way. Yeah, it's still riding up on it. We'll smooth out that grinding gouge while we're at it here, I think. It's riding up on it just a little bit, not in every position, but right there particularly. Almost there. Cast iron is such a joy to work with. Still a grinding mark right there where somebody ground it down. All the slides I've seen have been all the compound slides I've seen have been kind of hand machined there. Still touching it a little bit. I could dress off the bottom of the tool here. That side clears. That hits pretty hard. So it's these two corners. The next guy that owns this lathe, should I sell it? I have no idea the effort I went through so that he could buy a tool post and just mount it right up. Still hitting. Just barely. Guess I could have put a boring bar in there and machine that. Some of you may be recoiling in horror to see me doing this, but really the factory does something like this. And all I'm doing is making it look like this one was done a little more carefully than most of them. There's not a bunch of tool marks in there that were in there. Okay. Hey, it clears. This bottom corner of the tool was touching right in here, which was cocking it up. So now it no longer hits. Not much clearance there. Ooh, what are we hitting here? What's going on? Oh, that's something on the bottom of the tool. Oh, that's the wedge hitting this surface here. Okay. Awesome.